So.
You got plans?
Yeah, I'm making the lady dinner.
Lady?
Yes. And,
okay.
Well, she might be watching. So
yeah, does she have a name? Do you want to wish her a happy Valentine's Day?
Happy Valentine's Day, Anna.
There you go. Beautiful.
That's it.
Sorry to do that to you, man. That was just rude, borderline mean. I'm sorry.
It was okay. She appreciates it, I'm sure.
Bitcoin flirting with 52, ETH right around 28. What do you make of it?
I mean, crypto, it's you turn your head and you miss it.
It's wild.
It's just nuts. It's I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Obviously we knew. That's why we're in this field. But, just 2 years ago, a year ago, the whole narrative was from everybody, this is done, it's not coming back. But I think this has proven that this asset class is indeed resilient.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely off of the bear market lows, right? So 2-year high here, I believe, in price. It feels good right now. I haven't looked at it that closely, honestly, today, but just taking a quick peek at Vol in Bitcoin, still 55. Ethereum, though, picking up a bit. Both are up about 16% over the last week. And I think when you look at trading this, just expect larger ranges. Nothing new, higher volatility, higher price range that it can trade within, but it's certainly bullish.
Yeah, it's definitely bullish. I mean, since the start of this year, it's since last year, basically. It's just been on a slow climb upward. Ryan, how far is it going to go? Where are we going to be next year at this time, if you had to guess?
I have no idea, obviously, but in terms of where I think we could get to,
yeah,
and there is this kind of reflexive nature to it, there's the FOMO aspect, right? I think if you take out the highs, we see a push towards 75. If you can take that, everybody wants to see the 6-figure number, $100,000 Bitcoin. I think we'll get there at some point. I don't know if it's going to be 2024. I've said this on every show. I won't go into the rant, but it's liquidity driven. So unless those dynamics are there, I don't think you get to kind of those crazy numbers.
Yeah.
But you never know. But I think we take out the highs. That said, I also think you're going to see a lot more volatility. We had a period of time where post FTX kind of recovering off of those lows, the market traded sideways for a while. I think you're going to get back to that kind of normal level of volatility that we've come to expect with Bitcoin. Seeing some of it here, the up 20% in a week sort of move. If I look at where Bitcoin and ETH are, ETH's up 42% in the last 3 months. Ethereum's up 36%. I mean, you do see that in other tech stocks too. It's not crazy volatility, but it's definitely off of those days of 30 IV or 40 IV. You can see that reflected in the 62 rank for Ethereum's IVR. That's what I would expect. That's kind of how I look at the market. I don't know what the price is going to be. Obviously, nobody does. But I think in terms of the environment we're in, there's more bullish catalysts. You're seeing that trend start to play out. I think you'll get some dips. You'll get some opportunities at times. They could be a little bit bigger than people anticipate. Feels really good going up. We forget it can go down 20% in a week as well.
Sure.
So I think you're going to see more of that environment, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, at least on this latest run, the FOMO's kicked in yet. Because in years past, kind of like the insiders, the crypto native people are buying up like me and you. And then it kind of goes, parabolic. The whole world's buying it. It doesn't feel like we're there yet. That's why I think we're going to have some more room on the upside. Because it just doesn't feel like it. I don't feel that media frenzy that we usually see kind of run with these huge bulls.
I definitely don't think we're anywhere near being late in the cycle, for sure. This feels good because of how kind of bearish it was, right? We haven't taken out the prior high when we look at Bitcoin at 51 here. You're moving up, obviously. But if we jump out a little bit, we'd need to really see this break above 65, hold up there, and I think find buyers in that area, right? That's where we sold off of a couple times. So it's been a great recovery off of those lows. Great opportunity if you bought it sub 20. It was terrifying to do that, so hard to do. But when I look at, I had Bitcoin market dominance up there. It's about 54. It's not at all-time highs, but it's also at levels that I don't think you're seeing a lot of kind of the altcoin outperformance in a handful of names, maybe. But even if we look at that spread or ratio between Ethereum and Bitcoin, so price Ethereum in Bitcoin, and it's near the low still. So point being, I don't think that the cycle is anywhere near being long in the tooth in that sense.
We're not in a altcoin season, as they call it yet, but I think that could be coming.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, look at it this way. Are you getting the text messages from random people or from friends and family asking you about whether they should buy Bitcoin yet?
Not yet. That
Okay.
should be a bullish indicator, though.
I think that's a great indicator of kind of later cycle, right? I was thinking about this the other day. I haven't received those texts. We will get those texts at some point.
Yeah, they'll be back.
So that kind of tells me where we
Yeah.
are. It's still relatively early.
Yeah.
But that said, we've got 20 minutes of action here. Today we want to open it up. I think we've got the chat on, so I will look at this. Sometimes I get too distracted, as you know. But we're trying to do an Ask Me Anything around the Tasty Crypto wallet. We're happy to go anywhere that we can as well. We do have some questions that we received over email, some of the common or frequently asked questions that we get that we'll go over. But if anybody has a question about what we've been doing in crypto at Tasty Crypto, what's next? If you have a question about how we're looking at something in the market, even happy to talk about that. So pop that in the chat. I think we're on Twitter as well. So if anybody wants to reply to the tweet, it's at Tasty Crypto. And we will post this video. What typically happens is we cut this after the Tasty live show is over. We'll repost this on the Tasty Crypto YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that out, head on over to there at some point and subscribe to the channel. But Mike, if we have any questions, I'll read them off of the chat.
Great.
The first one that I just want to jump into and kind of cover some of the foundation here. I've talked a little bit about this with Tom. I'm sure he's mentioned it on the show as well. But I want to talk about why we started Tasty Crypto. And the reason that we started this brand, we've been exploring the space, is because we think that there's going to be a ton of opportunity in here for traders. And we think that more and more people are going to demand access to this space. We want to be able to provide that access and create a great experience around it. I personally love trading in crypto. I love trading options. We participate and have for a very long time in the traditional markets. And then this thing popped up. And for me, I was like, that's a lot more fun, or it looks like there's a lot more fun over there. And then I got there and it's like, this is fun. It's not a knock on anything else. But I think more and more people are going to start to come to the realization, or there's going to be a growing awareness of this and want to participate. And we're looking to provide access to that. In the same way that we provide access through the Tasty brand of companies to financial markets and to, broadly being able to participate, speculate a little bit, have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just once you really, Ryan, I didn't know too much about crypto. I knew Bitcoin, I knew the basics of it before I started working here. And then, as you know, I took several courses on it. And once you learn this stuff, once you learn how efficient these systems are and what they can do, it's really amazing. And the current financial system and almost all of Web 2 doesn't even compare to the opportunities in this space. And to be part of a company that acts as a gateway to this new universe of just endless opportunities is exciting. And hopefully we can tell people where to start, because those are the questions I had when I got started in the space.
Well, I would point everybody to the Tasty Crypto website, specifically the Learn Center. We've got a ton of great content on there, a couple different paths. So if you're interested in learning more about this, go check it out. Also, you can download the Tasty Crypto wallet app. It's a self-custody wallet. There are a lot of different self-custody wallets out there. This is from the Tasty brand. It'll allow you to connect to DeFi protocols. It'll allow you to purchase crypto. You can transfer crypto from Tasty Trade that you've purchased there. So Tasty Trade, as I think everybody knows, supports 4 different cryptocurrencies. You can buy crypto there. You can transfer it on-chain. You can do things with your Ethereum that you purchase. For example, that's all available through the Tasty Crypto wallet application. It's free to download. You create a wallet. Got to write down your seed phrase. Don't lose that.
Absolutely.
But it's really easy to do that. So I guess as we're kind of talking about that, I don't think we have any questions that have popped into the chat. So I want to jump into something that we get asked quite frequently and might help to possibly clear up some confusion if there is any. But what's the difference between Tasty Crypto and crypto at Tasty Trade, Mike?
Tasty Trade is just straight up crypto ownership.
Straight up.
Like you mentioned, 4 coins, that's it. Kind of the bare essentials.
Well, and it's a custodial account.
Sure.
Is probably the key thing there.
Yeah, it's hooked up to an exchange, so you can easily convert it to fiat currency. So Tasty Trade is kind of the light mode of crypto.
It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, Tasty Crypto is for the people that really kind of want to sink their teeth into the whole crypto space and experience everything from connecting to decentralized options trading protocols to staking Ethereum to earning yield. And that's the biggest part about decentralized finance that I like are the yield opportunities to earn yield. And everybody's looking for yield. And there's almost endless ways to earn yield in DeFi.
We'll jump into some of what I think is fun, some of the things that we do, how we participate in that space. But the key takeaway for everybody is that on one hand, you have the custodial services, the exchange services through the brokerage application. And that's where you can go and you can purchase crypto with your Tasty Trade account. You can onboard into the space that way. It's fantastic for that. You can check out more information about it on the Tasty Trade website. But you also have the ability to move that crypto on chain and through the Tasty Crypto app, completely separate application, separate company, not connected to the brokerage, just a piece of software. Mm-hmm. You can now participate on chain. You have access to protocols that you might want to use. You can see your token balances that are purely on chain. You can trade tokens. If you have NFTs, you want to store them, you want to send them, whatever it is you want to do, you can do that all on chain through the Tasty Crypto app. So you can buy crypto at Tasty Trade, move it over to Tasty Crypto or any application that you wish. We think the Tasty Crypto app's pretty good. But you can move it over there and then you can do things with it. And ultimately, you'll be able to, it's not available yet, but bring it back into the brokerage, sell that crypto, and now you have it converted it back into fiat.
Yeah, and not too many wallets have that, of course there's Coinbase, but not too many wallets out there have that connection. That we natively have. So that's exciting. And once we're able to properly communicate that message and, tell people how to do it, basically, I think that's going to be a lot of opportunity for us.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things I want to address then. So this relates to getting started. You're setting up your wallet. And a question that we get quite often is how do you store your seed phrase? So a little bit of context around this. If you haven't checked it out, again, I would encourage everybody to take a look. There's no risk in setting up a wallet. Even if you had a wallet and you didn't do anything with it and you forgot the seed phrase, it's just an empty account. It's like if you created an email address and you never sent an email or used it, no big deal. So there's no risk in just checking this out and taking a look at it. But one of the things that you have to do when you set up that wallet address and you, in effect, you can think about it as you create your account. It only takes a couple of seconds. You have to store your seed phrase. Seed phrase is a way that you can ultimately recover what's on chain, access it, and you could use the seed phrase in any wallet. So if you have a seed phrase from another wallet and you want to check this one out and you want to import it, you can do that. But specifically, and I'm curious about you, how do you store your seed phrase? How do you think about maybe security and best practices around actually securing that phrase, because it's so important?
Sure. Well, I'd like to start off by saying that the biggest risk to anybody that participates in self-custody is losing their seed phrase. 20% of all Bitcoin is lost because people lost their seed phrase.
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, that's billions and billions of dollars. And you think it doesn't happen to you until it does. And it happens to 20% of people. So you have to be very careful about this. And Ryan, to answer your question, I have my seed phrase written, and I'm not going to tell you or the rest of the world.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Because I'll go and steal all of your crypto.
Yeah, well, you can look up where I live, and maybe I'm down in Mexico for a week, and I come back, and it's gone. But it is in a very secure place that nobody can access.
Okay. So I guess for everybody, because a lot of times you're going through this process, you might just be in the habit of putting it on your phone in your notes, or you're screenshotting it really quickly. You get through the process. You're talking about the importance of writing this thing down and then putting this physical piece of paper somewhere.
Right. In a safe, or if something were to happen to you, where somebody else can find it.
Okay.
Put it in your will, the location of the will, whatever it may be. But you have to remember that this is a decentralized product. If you lose this, we do not have access to your account. And that's what frightens a lot of people.
That's a good point. You can memorize the seed phrase.
You can memorize it.
It's 12 words long, in this case, through the Tasty Crypto app. Other best practices, and I would encourage people to search for some of these as well. There's a lot of great ideas out there. But you could write down some of the phrase, remember the rest of it, or write down all of it except for one word, whatever it might be. But I think store this, do not lose it, and think about security. It's very important when you're participating on chain, and certainly as you're getting set up here.
Yeah.
You want to stay safe.
Ryan, where do you keep your seed phrase?
I have it written down and stored, kind of similar to what you've described. I've memorized a good chunk of it as
Good
well.
Memory.
So
I hope you have that same memory in 20 years from now.
we'll see. That's why I guess you get it in 5 years from now. You got to write it down. Another one I want to jump to: gas fees. So one of the things that you can do in the application is swap tokens on the Ethereum blockchain for other ERC20 tokens. So if I have Ethereum and I want to purchase something else, and you know what, it might make sense, Mike, if we actually kind of threw this up on the screen. It would be cool to see.
Yeah.
So let me
Ether scan, something like that.
let me connect, and we'll actually start to talk about some of this on the screen. But one of the things you can do in the application here is you can trade tokens. And so if I just jump over to our on-screen view, this is what the wallet looks like, and apologies for not pulling this up earlier. It's usually helpful to visualize some of what we're talking about. But these are different ERC20 tokens in addition to Bitcoin. So I should mention the wallet supports both networks right now. And this version that's not available in the App Store yet also supports Polygon. So you're getting a little bit of a look behind the curtains or sneak peek here. So it's multi-network. But all of these tokens on here, some of these are available on centralized exchanges. Others are only available via a decentralized exchange. This allows you to use that Ethereum that you've purchased from, say, tastytrade, and you've transferred, or really anywhere else, and swap it for other tokens you might be interested in owning. That's probably in how I think about DeFi. That's the simplest form of DeFi. You're trading or swapping tokens on chain. And so you can see this is a wallet that I own. These are some balances we use. We use this for testing, and I'd like to buy some things I'm kind of interested in at times. Not saying you should go out and buy these in any way, but if you wanted to trade into anything at all. So if I have Ethereum here, I can click on this. I can see some more information about it. There's a lot of updates that are coming to this screen. But if I click on swap, and let me just skip our helpful little tool there, I'll get to the point where I can enter in how much Ethereum I want to swap, and then whatever the token is I want to swap for that. I can search the database, and it's going to give me pretty much any token that's available through CoinMarketCap. So if it's listed, traded on some sort of decentralized exchange, it's likely available here. You want to check the liquidity around it.
Yeah, but you also want to check the token address to make sure you're buying, because there's a lot of coins that are similar to other coins. So if you're buying sort of an obscure coin, it's always best to check that you are indeed buying the coin that you intended to buy.
That's a great point. So really quickly, I've just thrown up Ethereum and selling it, in this case, for USDC. So if you wanted to jump from cryptocurrency into a stable coin, you could do that. But getting back to the question around gas fees, why are gas fees so high when you swap? We have a handy gas tracker in here that will give you an idea of what the average gas price has been on Ethereum over the last 5 days. And so you can see if the current price is relatively high or low. Now this current price, $28.40 for a swap, I would say is still relatively high. This is the fee that you have to pay to the network to conduct the swap. That's expensive. Sure. Over time, you're going to see these fees go down substantially. You're seeing that already on layer 2s, so those Ethereum scaling solutions. But $28.40 does say it's low. It's low relative to where it's been. We've seen that gas fees have been very high over the last week, as high as, I think, what do we have, $59 here if we go to, looks to be the 8th.
And this is on a per trade basis, so it doesn't scale up. So if you buy a tenth of a Bitcoin or 50 Bitcoins, you're going to be paying the same gas fee.
Well, in this case on Ethereum, but yes.
Well, on Ethereum, I should use Ethereum as an example. And I'd also like to mention real quick that these are the Ethereum fees. Now, Ryan, we have added Polygon. That's going to be public soon. If you could kind of guesstimate what this would be on Polygon, on the Polygon Layer 2 network, what would you say it is?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but you can pull that up and you can just see through, Polygon gas tracker.
It would probably be under $1, I'm guessing.
It might be. I mean, the fees on L2s have been high at times as well. But no, I don't have it in front of me. But it's going to be a lot cheaper than on layer 1. So this is right on the ETH layer 1. It is expensive, but if you want to trade tokens in here, this is one of the ways that you can do it. When you see these numbers, though, be aware of exactly what Mike said. There is some scale to this. So if you are looking to swap $20 and it's going to cost $20 in gas fees, that does not make any sense. That's unfortunately where we are at this point. That I think will get a lot better. You're seeing a lot of work that's being done around increasing transaction throughput, decreasing gas fees, and ultimately scaling these networks. It's just early, as we say.
Yeah.
But if you were to go in here and you had $5,000, $10,000, I'm just throwing out arbitrary numbers, you wanted to swap that, 28 is still high, relatively speaking, to, let's say, commission-free trading.
Sure.
But it is one way then to trade on the chain and to get into some of these other tokens that this is the only way to access them at this point. So that's gas fees in a nutshell. And that's a look at the wallet as well.
And I do have an article on gas fees if anybody's interested. You could probably just Google gas fees tasty crypto and it'll be the first hit. But and that kind of goes in depth as to how to interpret the different gauges. There's different denominations of gas fees, GWEI, or how do you say it, Ryan?
I don't know.
Well,
You're beyond.
They break it down into a million different denominations, and you can see those, as well as how these things are determined, why they're determined, the different gas fees. For example, if you were to just do a simple buy or sell, those are low gas fees in comparison to maybe transacting with a protocol. Or,
yeah, that's a great point. When we're conducting a swap, we're interacting with smart contracts. We're going to have more than one interaction in a sense. You're going to have to pay more in order to facilitate this on the network versus I want to send you an ERC20 token, I want to send you ETH. The fee is going to be a lot less to just transfer across the network.
Yeah, the fees are in proportion to the work done. Ryan, to launch a smart contract on Ethereum can cost over $10,000.
Okay, so depending on what the network congestion is at the time and what's involved with that, it could be pretty expensive still to interact with these. And I think that's one of the things as people dig into this, they start to learn really what it is, right? You pay a fee to interact with the network. There's value that's exchanged. You get something in return. I like to think about it as, you get that security. You get the verification. Or validation in that sense. So gas fees can be variable depending on network congestion, the amount of activity, what's happening that day. As we've seen a lot more volatility, a lot more trading across the centralized exchanges, you're going to see higher gas fees. And if you price this in dollars and the price of Ethereum is going up in dollars, you're also going to notice that, right? Sure. The gas fee might be almost the same, but the value of Ethereum in dollars, if we're looking at it that way, could be a lot higher.
Yeah.
So sometimes there could be some sticker shock. But hopefully that helps to answer that question. And we've got a couple great comments in the chat as well, just talking about something you had mentioned, but how much has actually been lost. And it looks like Edward has said there's about 3 million coins that have been lost of the 21 million that will ultimately exist. So 3 million of the current supply. Interesting if that's the number.
Yeah, I remember reading an article about 2 years ago about Bitcoin, just Bitcoin alone. I wonder if I can find that number again. But
well, you look that up. We'll answer that question at some point next time. If anybody has any questions, though, about the application, about getting started, we have a lot of resources that we're working on building out. You can always email us, support@tastycrypto.com. Hit us up on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Also check us out on YouTube. As I mentioned, this show will be up there within the next 24 hours. We'll get the Tasty Crypto show up. And lastly, if you haven't checked out the Tasty Crypto app yet, take a look. Let us know. Give us a review. We're still working on adding a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming over the next, say, 3 months or so. Very close to some big design changes, more networks, more ways to participate in DeFi, as we've talked about. But take a look. It's available on iOS, on Android, and also as a browser extension on the Chrome browser.
And just play around with it. You don't have to fund it. You can download it almost instantaneously. Have it on your phone, and you could kind of look up some charts and quotes, explore different coins, and you don't need to fund it. It just takes a second to do. And Jose, to answer your question, Chainalysis says about $140 billion worth of Bitcoin is inaccessible. They don't say lost, inaccessible due to lost seed phrases.
Ouch.
So, it's a lot of money.
Well, we'll end on that sour note. We will not be back next week. We're off on Monday, and I believe the afternoon programming has been, I don't know what the right word is, suspended, paused. We've got a big studio move upcoming. Everybody, I think, has followed along on the Tasty Live social channels.
It looks
You've
cool.
probably seen some behind-the-scenes looks at it. It looks really cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited to do a show in there.
Yeah, so
It'll
am
be
I.
a bit more convenient for us. We travel a little ways to get over here on
Yeah, it's about
Monday
a
and Wednesday.
3/4 mile difference between the Tasty Trade office and the Tasty Live office. So in a couple weeks, it's just going to be a 20-second walk. So that'll
Yeah.
be nice, especially in winter.
Absolutely. It'll be fun. But we'll be back in another week. In the meantime, check us out on the Tasty Crypto YouTube channel. Until then, I'm Ryan,
I'm Mad Mike.
and this is the Tasty Crypto Show. Thanks for watching.